For more reaction to the ambassador's passing, we are joined by the arts leader and member of the National Arts Council of South Africa, Bongani Tembe. Tembe, a very good evening to you, and thank you so much for your time this evening. Just talk to us about your reaction to the passing of the ambassador. I mean, you spent quite some time with him, working alongside him, being in the National Arts Council while he was the Minister of Arts and Culture.
Good evening to you, Katleho, and the listeners. Thank you for having me. The sudden passing of Ambassador Nathi Mthetha has deeply impacted us all. In fact, it's been a shock. And his contribution to arts and culture, whilst he was Minister of Arts and Culture, is truly invaluable and has left an important legacy for the sector.
Talking about that legacy, just talk to us in terms of his leadership style during that time, and in what ways did his vision influence the direction of arts and culture policies in our country?
I found that he had a great attention for detail, and he was a visionary as well. He was truly interested in developing the sector. And during this tenure, he worked closely with the presidency and unlocked billions of rands through the PSP funding, the presidential special funding to the arts sector. But also during his tenure, he appointed a number of women and young people in important positions in the arts sector. He appointed a lady to chair the Artscape in Cape Town and a number of other places. So that's very positive for the sector and for the country.
I mean, you make mention of the presidential employment stimulus package, especially that which needed to be distributed during the COVID-19 period. And of course, his tenure as Minister of Arts and Culture was not without its own controversy. Just talk to us in terms of how he handled that particular time, because I believe because of some of the funds that were not distributed to artists timeously during that period, he did order for some of those who were at the helm to step aside.
Yes, that is true. He was very, very tough and wanted to be sure that if people do things that are wrong, there are consequences. And I was there at the NAC during that time. It was a tough time. And we should remember that the Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, just on the arts and culture side, oversees 27 institutions that are aligned to DSEC. And so the minister doesn't actually run those institutions, doesn't run the National Arts Council. Of course, it gives strategic direction, but it doesn't run those. But when he heard that things were untoward that were happening, he stepped in and ensured that, I think it dismissed one board member. He said to the board, there must be consequence management, and that is commendable.
And how do you see the sector having evolved post his leadership? What advice or lessons do you think the current leadership can take from him in terms of how you describe how he led that department?
He paid attention to detail. He ensured that certain things do happen. And for example, it is under his tenure that the white paper was promulgated, the revised white paper. And the first one was in 1997, and not much had happened for a long time. But when it came in, I think about 2016, one of the things that he did was to ensure that there's a new white paper, a revised white paper for arts and culture in South Africa. So he did things, and you could take certain things that he did. So I think all of us can learn from his passion, from his dedication and attention to detail, and his passion for development.
You speak of that revised white paper. How did the minister, or rather the former minister, just perceive the role of arts and culture in nation building as well as social cohesion?
Yes, in terms of that white paper, he appointed very prominent arts people around the country to say, look, oversee the process, listen. So he was a good listener. Go around the country and listen to artists and then come up with the best principles aligned with our constitution. So he was a good listener, and which is very important for any leader. Excuse me.
Well, yes, you can take a moment there, Mr. Tembe. I mean, of course, speaking yesterday to an ANC NEC member, Dr. Gigaba, he spoke about his passion for not only the arts but sport as well, calling him a strong Amapagapaga fan, that he really was a fan of Orlando Pirates. What do you remember most outside of his political career, outside of the administration, in terms of the role that he needed to play as an administrator? Just Nathi Mthetha as a person, what do you remember most?
He loved the arts beyond the fact that he was a minister. In a way, he was some kind of a historian. I mean, when he told you about the history of Mthethwa, really you saw a different sparkle in his eye and passion. So he loved the history, in particular the Zulu history and the history of his clan, Mthethwa. And apparently was a very good soccer player as well. He was left-handed. I saw him do some moves at one point. He was a talented soccer player. He once told me that had circumstances been different, he could have been a professional soccer player.
And what position do you think he would have played? Is it goalie? Would he have been a midfielder had he become a soccer player?
I think he would have been a winger, a left-hand winger. And he would have probably scored a few goals.
I'm sure he would have. I'm sure he would have. Just maybe speaking about the role that you've occupied within the National Arts Council, you're also known for a lot of the work that you've done in the arts itself, particularly with the Philharmonic Symphony that you've led over the years, and just ensuring that young people are exposed to music and different forms of music, and then participating in also creating that music. How important is it for us to be able to create opportunities for young people within the arts in order for them to take these opportunities and actually make a living out of it?
You are really nailing it, and it's so important that we harness the talent of young people. It's so crucial, and that we create a very clear path, a career path for them. You know, people who study to be doctors or to be architects, it's very clear what they must do to get to that level. But often in the arts, sometimes it is not so clear. So it is our duty as leaders to create and clear this career path, but also for society to put the resources to the arts. You know, the arts play an important role in uniting our nation, in branding our country positively in South Africa and around the world, and really portraying who we are and highlighting our heritage. So really to honor Minister and Ambassador Mthethwa, let's rededicate ourselves to putting resources in the arts, doing things properly and procedurally, and really harnessing the talent of young people, as you've said.
All right, let me let you go and let you rest your voice. Bongani Tembe, thank you so much for paying tribute and joining us this evening, just speaking about the former minister and ambassador to France with regards to his role in arts and culture and shaping some of those policies in the country. Thank you so much for your time this evening.